Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2024 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid all-wheel drive in the Limited trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 235/55 Michelin tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Deep Sea, and it's kind of like a dark, similar to like a navy blue, looking pretty good. And I have the lights on so you can see what they look like. These are the driving lights basically. So you can see they kind of blend in to the front of the vehicle here. They match these pieces here. When the vehicle's turned off, these kind of look like they're not lights. They just look like they're part of the grille. The actual headlights are in this location right here, which are not on right now, and it's a quad projector. There is a camera right here in the center. It's fairly well integrated in the design of the vehicle. It's in the very center, and this is part of the 360 surround view camera system. There's parking sensors here across the front. It does have the radar adaptive cruise control system, and the sensor is right here, kind of integrated in this black portion. Right there. You can see this is a flat black, and then it has like a silver at the bottom. And that flat black continues around. This is a dark color, so it's kind of hard to tell, but it continues around the wheel wells and at the base of the vehicle. And the doors go all the way to the bottom as well. We'll look at that. Body colored handles, gloss black pillars right here, so it solidifies the glass. And it kind of has this swooping look to it with that chrome there on the top. And then it has the gloss black roof rails and pretty interesting looking wheels. What do you think about the wheels? Let me know in the comments. And also it has all these lines that kind of converge right here on the driver's door. This is what the key looks like. It's a full proximity key, but man, look at all those buttons. Lock, unlock, the ability to open up the power lift gate, panic button, a little horn. It has a remote start, and once you remote start it, you can move the vehicle forward and back using just holding down these buttons. You have to be kind of close to the vehicle, but you can move the vehicle forward and back. If the wheels are turned, it will straighten them up first. But you can just stand next to the vehicle and move it forward and back. I demonstrated it a million times, but it's pretty straightforward. Literally, it just goes forward and back. But the vehicle, the way the proximity system works is it has the lock sensor here on the handle here. And then to unlock it, you put your hand behind the handle and it has a sensor there. So that's the way this one works. There's also a physical key location behind this cover. You just take this little cover off and there's one back there on the driver's side only. The door goes all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, and then it has a seal down there. It keeps this threshold a little bit cleaner when you're driving. So the inside of the passenger door here, it has like a vinyl type material here, gloss black with some chrome trim. This is a cloth, and then this is another vinyl type material here and here. Fairly soft armrest. Then the gloss black here, and then you have a handle which is also like a pocket, but it does have a rubber little mat in the bottom. So when you put stuff in there, it's not going to slide around as much. Then you have the larger pocket there at the bottom. It does have the Bose sound system, which sounds pretty good. There's a speaker here and here on the pillar. So there's no fancy sill plate. It just has this plastic protection one. This has Tucson name in it. Power seat here on the passenger side, and you can raise, lower, tilt the back, all that stuff. And pretty impressive leather seats. They are perforated, and then it has the solid leather here, perforations, and then you have a microfiber cloth right here where it meets up with the plastic to protect it. These are also heated and ventilated seats. There's plenty of leg room here in the floorboard. There's also a little storage cubby right here. There's one on both sides, driver and passenger. This is a hard touch surface, non-locking glove compartment. Pretty good size as well. So this is a little bit, this is a hard touch, this is more of a soft touch cloth, and then kind of rubbery soft non-reflective dash. I like the way I have these lines here kind of going over and hiding little vents there. It's kind of neat. So there's lots of room here in the front to get in and out of the vehicle, and I like this type of vehicle where it's very easy. The The seat is a good height off the ground, so it's very easy to get in and out. Swing of the door is nice. The size of the door is really good. The back door, the swing of the door is actually pretty good. Almost just about perfect, basically. Not quite a 90-degree angle, but it's pretty good. But you still have a lot of room back here. Headroom and all that stuff. There's a little bit less room right in here. But yeah, not bad at all as far as entering and exiting the vehicle. So the back door, very similar styling. You have the hard touch surface though. Cloth, vinyl, hard touch. You have the pocket with a little rubber mat in it, gloss black. These are heated seats back here, and there's the controls here on the door. And there's a bottle holder at the bottom as well. All right, does have the latch system for the car seats, and they're just right here in this crease. Does have an armrest with cup holders. This is super soft here. Basically a bench seat. Does have a little bit of bolstering. Does fold down a 60-40 split. There is a net pocket on the back of both front seats, and it's a hard plastic here. Net pocket keeps everything secure. 2 USB-A ports back here. Climate control vents. A little tiny hump in the middle. Mostly wide open legroom though. It's actually pretty good. Take a look at the back of the vehicle. It has a gloss black shark fin antenna there at the top. Third brake light is located here at the top of the glass in that spoiler, but there's also a wiper up in there as well. So the wiper swings down, which is really nice. Really easy to, you know, keep snow and stuff or any kind of debris from building up on this, because it's basically just smooth all the way back here. And this is also smooth here. So the emblem doesn't even stick out. Taillights are LED, and they actually go from one side to the other. This accent light illuminates. And we'll check out my night video. We'll have a full night video on this vehicle showing how it performs at, you know, inside, outside, headlights, and all that stuff. The backup camera is right here in the very center. It's actually pretty decent. It's in here with the tag, but still it's in the center position. It's fairly high up already. So I guess that's pretty good. And it seems to work well. Parking sensors back here. And the exhaust is fairly well hidden right over here. You can of course use the key to open up this power liftgate, or you can press under here, or it has a setting to where if you just stand here with the key when the vehicle's locked, it'll open up after a few seconds. We can turn that off. It has a hard plastic on the underside here. If you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is the cargo space, and I think it's more than adequate for the average person. It's pretty good, especially considering you can fold the seats down as well. So here on the left side, it has a 12-volt power supply, tie downs, little bag holder. You can also put in net pocket as well. There's another tie down here in the front. There's a subwoofer. And this floor is a little bit slippery, so it's good to have a mat or something to keep things from sliding around while you're driving. This lifts up, and there's additional space under here. You can see it goes all the way in there. Lots of additional space. Now this one has the tire mobility kit instead of a spare tire, but it's the way it is. Now under this styrofoam piece appears to be enough room to put a spare tire. So if you want to put a spare tire in here, it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. But as it is, they have this huge styrofoam piece in the way. You have to take that out, and I'm assuming that they have a kit because there is some bolts here, and there is plenty of room to put a spare tire. You can also lower this load floor, so you just grab here and pull forward until the back drops down. Then you can push forward and it goes down like so. So it has a additional space, and it's pretty functional because you can keep stuff under this floor, or you can have more height here in the cargo area with this lowered down. Folding the seats down is a 60-40 split. You can actually do it here. You just pull that and it kind of flops down a little bit, but you have to go over there and push it down until it locks in place anyway. But that is kind of convenient in case you're trying to put a big box or something in here and you're trying to push it in. You can quickly, release the seat But you know, it's a 60-40 split, so you could have a passenger on one side, cargo on the other, that kind of stuff, or you can fold everything down and have a wide open space. To lower the power liftgate, you just press this button. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it locks with the vehicle. So when the vehicle is locked, it's locked. Go ahead and unlock the vehicle. It also unlocks the fuel door. And it has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap here on the inside of the door. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, press and hold the brake, and press this button to start it up. And since it's a hybrid, the engine may not start, but it will tell you that it's ready right there. Floorboard in front of the driver's seat. The floor mat snaps in place over here and there in two places instead of just one. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, and then that large footrest here on the left side. All looking good. Let's take a look under the hood. To raise the hood, there is a latch a little bit to the right of center, right in here. Move it to the left and lift up. It's kind of a heavy hood though. Steel hood. It could be aluminum probably, make it a little bit lighter. It does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here, and you swing it up and place it where that arrow is pointing right there. There's insulation under the hood, and there's also seals across the back and front, controlling the airflow. The suspension towers are braced together. You can see that the brace there behind that plastic piece. And this has like a foam under here, and then a hard plastic cover there over the engine. So it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, but the position of the engine is like a front-wheel drive. So you have the front of the engine here, back of the engine there, and it has a hybrid drivetrain. You can see the orange lines, which are the high voltage lines. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. The blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert indicators on the side mirror there. There's two presets for the driver's seat. Power windows, the front two are one touch up and down. The back windows, you have to hold them, and they go down all the way. There's door lock controls. Side mirrors are adjusted there. Just pick a side, adjust it with that little pad. And then the driver's seat, very similar to the passenger as far as the controls, up, down, tilt, and all that stuff. But it also has a two-way lumbar adjustment. And like I said, these are three-way heated and three-way cooled seats. You see the perforations there, allowing the cool air to flow through. To the left of the steering column, this is a fuse box cover, so it's not anything that you would open. And then this is the dimmer switch for the interior gauges, the ability to open up the power liftgate. Traction control default is on. You can turn it off here. And then you can reset the 12-volt battery. For whatever reason you have to change it, you can go through the process of resetting it here. There's also a tilt and telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall. To give you an idea of the potential legroom here, and I feel like it for me, I mean, it's fine to drive like this, but it feels like sometimes I want to put a little bit further back or lower the seat just a tad. But that's just, you know, it's still fine. There's plenty of room, but I just had that feeling that I want to lower the seat a little bit or maybe move it back slightly. So you can see there's lots of legroom here and knee room and everything. Now I understand they don't want to put the seat too far back because the whole purpose of this vehicle is have, you know, potentially have passengers in the back. So, and there is lots of legroom back there. Okay, so the steering wheel, leather wrapped, fairly, it's kind of thin. It could be a little bit thicker. This plastic right here kind of gets in the way sometimes. And, but yeah, overall pretty good. Not a huge deal. It does have the paddle shifters here on the back in case you need to change through the gear ratios. Here on the right side is the cruise control. See one button to set it, turn it on and set it all together. You can change the speed, you can resume and cancel here, or this is like a pause basically. And then you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and then there is the lane keep assist system, which you can activate here. This pages button and this OK and this up and down corresponds with the screen. We'll get to that in a second. Here on the left side is the radio, volume for the radio, change to the tracks, the voice recognition. Mode will be the audio source, and then the phone button, just one button to answer and hang up. And then this is a button that you can set up in the settings to do whatever you want basically. Windshield wiper controls are here, and does have an automatic function, rain sensing headlights or windshield wipers. So front and rear wipers are controlled here. Turn signal, of course, is on this side, but it also has a headlight switch. So it has off, auto, parking, and headlights here. And it shows you on the screen. I like the way it does that, because this is not illuminated. So when you turn it at nighttime, you can see what you're doing. The gauges are basically a screen. So it has a pretty cool effect to it. And, you know, very well done as far as the screen for the most part. It has the traditional dials, and then you have the range here on the left side is speedometer, fuel gauge, battery level, and then this is for the EV stuff. This is for the hybrid, the status of how much you're using versus how much you're generating as you drive. And then you can also see, you know, your fuel economy and stuff down here. Digital speedometer is there in the center, but you remember these buttons here have the pages button and this OK and this up and down. We're going to use that because the pages button goes through these top pages here. So the first one is here, and on each one, sometimes you can go up and down to get different information. So your lane keep assist system, you can have the driver attention warning system here. The next one will be the information about the vehicle. So like say digital speedometer, but you can also go up and down and get the energy flow, trip, since refueling trip, drive info, another trip, and then it goes back to digital speedometer. But I like the energy flow because it'll show you, I mean, I like the digital speedometer really is my default, but I like to look at the energy flow sometimes because it actually shows where the power is coming from the battery or the engine, or it's coming from the wheels going to the battery. In other words, it's regenerating electricity and recharging the battery. So it's constantly changing as you drive. It's pretty neat to watch. But like I said, the speedometer will be my favorite. Now there's different theme selections that you can have, and you can tie these to the drive mode. So I don't really like to do that because, well, I'll just show you. First of all, there's the cube, which is a little bit different. You know, it has like these little cubes. I don't really care for that, but it does have that feature. It's kind of neat. So you have Classic A, Classic B, and Classic C. And Classic A is a little, at nighttime, is a little bit bright. It's just a lot of brightness there on the dials. So Classic B is kind of like a sporty sport mode, and Classic C is more like an eco mode. So I like this view because it's not quite as bright at nighttime and just kind of has a neat look without being overly sporty or whatever. You know, just driving around with the sport screen seems to not match the rest of the vehicle, you know, all the time. And like I said, this one's fine during the day, but it's a little bit bright at night. And the cube is just a little bit weird for me. I don't really care for it. But you can link these to the drive modes if you want. In any of these themes, you can change this right side. If you don't want to have that EV meter right there, you can change that to a tachometer here on the right if you'd like. So this one has the fairly traditional Hyundai screen here. And you see it has these different home screens. So all these different, similar to a cell phone. Now it has like a little overlay of a map right there. It shows the date, the time, and all that stuff. Really good. And just a nice calm screen here. You can go over to the different options immediately. You can also set up different users by hitting that little icon there. The home button takes you there. This little menu right here gives you the ability to turn off the display, edit home icons, and you can get the QR code for our user manual if you like. So we can check out the hybrid system, see what it's doing. We can view the map and get our bearings. We can zoom in and out by pinching. We can also use the buttons on here, and then the menu pops up and you can save locations, look for nearby info, that kind of stuff. Now that's separate, the map is separate from the navigation menu, which shows you where you can search for different things, and depending on your needs, you can search for different things and set destinations. You can even have your home, work, and different favorites as well. Your phone, you can set up your phone. Phone projection would be Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can also do a voice memo. You just hit that button and record your voice, and it's pretty cool. Climate control, you can have that visualized here on the screen. There's also some redundant buttons here at the bottom. valet mode, Hyundai Pay, not really sure what the purpose of that is. Quiet mode, this would be like the kids in the back are sleeping and you want the sound here in the front. HD radio information, you go into setup there, all your settings. Radio, it has a satellite radio. And let's get back here, media, so this would be like USB, AM, FM, radio, Bluetooth, USB, sounds of nature, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It also has AM as well. Different notifications will show up there. User manual, unfortunately, it's just a QR code. So it's not like a onboard user manual, but it does give you the ability to get one. And then down here you have the buttons. You can quickly go to some of that stuff. You have the volume. There's no volume knob here, but you have the little touch buttons there. You can hit the map, navigation. There's your little favorite that you can set up. Seek through the tracks, radio, media setup. All those are in addition to the ones on the screen. Temperature for the driver, temperature for the passenger. You can set it up automatic, high, medium, and low automatic, which is kind of cool. You can also diffuse the air to where it's not just coming from blowing in your face, it's blowing down at your feet as well, so it's not as strong. You have the same volume of air, but it's more distributed, more diffused. Fan speed, where you want the air to blow. Front and rear defrosters are here. You can also focus on the driver if you want. You can also sync the temperatures for the driver and passenger, recirculate the air or not. Then down here is a USB, it's two USB-A's, 12-volt power supply, and a wireless charger. I got my cell phone in the way. So you can see there's the little pad that you can put stuff, but the wireless charger is kind of tilted here. So you just basically you take your phone and just kind of plop it in here like that. And it usually does a pretty good job of recognizing it and charging. Even with the case on, I really haven't had an issue with it charging. Okay, so here's the controls for the heated and cooled seats for the driver and passenger. It's a 3-stage cooled and 3-stage heated. Cycle through. You have a downhill descent button for the all-wheel drive system, heated steering wheel as well, parking sensors, and then there's this button here for the camera. You can press that and it pops up the camera system. It also pops it up when you're in reverse it as well. So it has a top-down view, and then it has, right now it's showing the rear view, and then you have a top-down rear, more linear view, and then the sides there in the back. Now if you're in drive, it'll show you the front view in addition to the top-down. So front, more top-down. This is good for car washes. And then directly in front of the vehicle, and then this is for the front wheels. So actually when I'm turning the wheels, you can see them turning there. Let's go back here. You can see them turning as I turn the steering wheel like that. You can see the wheels there. So it's a high resolution view of these wheels. Really handy when you need to get really close to something. You can be certain that you're not going to hit your wheel basically. So yeah, pretty cool. And that top down view is kind of neat. It does have a center locking differential for the all-wheel drive system. So could come in handy if you're doing some off-roading and kind of, shady, slippery situations. And then there's also drive mode here. So when you cycle through it, it has Eco, Sport, Smart, which is kind of like a balance, and then Snow mode. I like Smart. It seems to work fine. Really, Smart mode, when you really need the power, it's there, and when you're just driving normally, it doesn't, to feel weak or anything. So that's the one I keep it in. If you really want to focus on power to the maximum, then the Sport mode is there, but it's really not really a big deal if you just leave it in Smart mode. Eco's a little bit too weak for me, and also it kind of cuts back on the climate control a little bit, so I'd prefer to have it in Smart mode. And Snow, of course, self-explanatory. Okay, so here's the shifter. So there you put it in park, reverse, parking sensors are active, and here, and the screen pops up here as well. Neutral, drive, and then park. So it's push button system, fairly easy, straightforward. There's cup holders here. Electronic parking brake, you lift it up to engage it. It engages the rear wheels. Hold the brake over here and press it down to release it. And then you have an auto hold feature, which holds the brake for you when you come to a complete stop, like at a stop sign or stoplight, traffic, that kind of stuff. So this armrest is fairly soft, kind of rubbery soft here. and it has this button. Press that and it lifts up, and it's spring loaded so it doesn't flop back down on you. And this is as far back as it goes though. Kind of gets in the way a little bit. And then there is a storage compartment. It's got my business cards in the way. Get those out of the way. It has a felt line compartment at the bottom, and it's kind of dark abyss in there basically. So I would take that felt lining out and put a white one in there. Make you can see a little bit better in there. The auto dim rearview mirror, home link garage door opener controls here. So you have your roadside assistance and your blue link buttons up here as well. And all the interior lights turn on, or you can turn on individual reading lights here and here. And turn them on with the door as well, if you'd like to have that or not. This is for the sunroof. We'll get to that in a second. The visor has a vinyl material. The actual headliner is a cloth, but they match in color. And I like the way they have the vinyl. That really does help out with cleaning it and stuff. It has a little clip right here and a mirror, and the light turns on manually. You have to turn it on like that. But it's a big mirror. It does slide out as well, and it seems to have pretty decent coverage, unlike some vehicles. And if you accidentally leave this light on, you lift this up, it'll hit the button and turn it off. It's kind of neat. Low-tech solution, but it works. Okay, so it has this huge panoramic sunroof, and this cover feels like it's like a cloth material like this, but it covers 100% of the light, so there's no light getting in. So we can gently press it back like that, and it goes fast, all the way back. All right, that back portion is fixed. This portion moves, so let's go ahead and press this button, vent it up, and let's move it back. See how far back it goes. Press it again. All right, that's as far back as it goes. Now I pressed it kind of hard, so it's not only going to close that, but it's also going to close this, all at the same time if you press the button forward kind of hard. So looking at the visibility, really I hadn't had any problems with driving it. It does have a fairly large pillar back there, and the headrest kind of getting away a little bit, but overall, it's like any other vehicle. You're going to have to get used to it. But with the technology this vehicle has, parking sensors, blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, 360 camera system, I mean everything, all the technology makes it to where it's like no problem whatsoever as far as visibility, really. Really enjoy having the camera system. So anytime I back out of a parking spot, I have certainty that there's nothing directly around the vehicle, and then I can see behind, and of course looking both ways. It just gives me 100% certainty that I'm not running into anything or leaving anything behind. You know, sometimes you set something down next to the vehicle and then you have the intention of putting it back in the vehicle, and then you can see it on the camera like, oh, I forgot to put that back in there, you know. So yeah, that camera system comes in handy. And this vehicle is so easy to turn, and the turning radius is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Really good turning radius. So there's a few things I'll mention when we're driving that it's kind of weird, you know, like it's kind of I don't know if it's the hybrid system. It seems like it is the EV system, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll describe what I'm talking about when we're driving, because I have to. Maybe you can tell what's going on. And we'll keep an eye on this energy monitor as well, because it feels like it's chugging sometimes. Like you're at a constant speed, and it's just like, it feels like it's like surging a little bit, and it's like I don't know. It's kind of weird. I really like the blind spot cameras. So I was kind of saving that. I was going to show you before, but I wanted you to see it on the road. There's a camera on either side, so when you turn right or left, you can actually see what's next to you. It's sometimes handy when you're just turning like what I did, because you can see where the curb is, that kind of stuff. But it's mainly for blind spot viewing, basically. And then you press that button to turn on the lane keep assist system, which works fairly well. I wouldn't say it's excellent or anything, but it doesn't really fight with you too much and holds the lane. And that's seems to be a thing with Hyundai, is they, if it has the feature, then it seems to work well. Even the automatic high beams, most of the Hyundais I've had haven't had any problem. I have had one Hyundai where the lane keep assist system was kind of screwed up, but I think it was just that one vehicle. So yeah, it feels like it's like a little bit of a surge when I have it set at the cruise control, and it just feels like it's trying to overcompensate sometimes, and so it feels a little weird when I'm just kind of cruising at a set speed. So we'll go ahead and go to 55 and set it there, and keep an eye on, because it seems like it only does it when it's in EV mode. Like when the engine's running, it doesn't seem like it does it, and then when it's in EV mode, it just, there's a little bit of just a slight surge like that, like you're just playing around with the gas pedal, that kind of thing. But you see the lane keep assist system works well. Yeah, I feel it. And the engine is running. But yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those little tiny incy-wincy things that I happened to notice when I was driving it, and just, paying attention to the vehicle to understand its characteristics and stuff. Yeah, that lane keep assist system is working well. So this type of vehicle, it's not really made to go really fast. It's not really made for, rapid 0 to 60 runs and all that stuff. The sport mode, really, for normal driving, even if you really need to peg it and go really fast on a highway and pass, or merge in traffic and that kind of stuff, the smart mode seems to handle just about everything. So I don't see, for me anyway, the use for the sport mode. I can kind of get the eco mode if you really want to save on gas, but it doesn't, it's not like going to be a massive difference. It'll just be a subtle difference, which, could still help. But yeah, it's a pleasurable vehicle really to drive. It smooths out the bumps without being too floaty. The steering is solid. It just feels like a solid vehicle, relatively quiet. There's a tiny bit of noises, like maybe a little bit of wind noise, very, very little road noise. And the engine is fairly well subdued and quiet. So sometimes when it's just sitting still and then the engine starts, it's a little bit loud. But I think it's just like the first startup is like, I think it's the exhaust or something. But other than that, when you're driving, you can't really tell. So you can hear the engine. It's not that bad. It's not like some of the Toyotas and Lexus where it's like just jarring loud. So yeah, this is a really good vehicle. Now, if you have to consider the price range and the fuel economy and all that stuff. It is, like, I'm getting a little bit over 31 fuel economy, and it's not really, I'm sure other people could get better, but on the roads that I drive and what I've been doing, mostly testing it and doing videos and stuff, so it's probably a little bit low. But for a hybrid system, small motor type vehicle, you'd think you get a little bit better. But it's definitely better than a lot of other vehicles that are, getting 17, 18. But for the hybrid system, it's just the hybrid part, It's like having all the additional complexity and the battery and all that stuff. You would think it would be quite a bit higher. And it might be, there might be some people that drive in certain scenarios, they get better fuel economy. So let me know what you think about this vehicle, or Hyundai in general, and the direction they're going. They seem like they're doing pretty good as far as, so this vehicle hasn't been, you know, redone, but some of their other vehicles have been redone and they look really good. So we'll see about this one. This one has the, you know, steering wheel, a little bit older steering wheel, and the systems is kind of like the one they've had for several years, and it's the new, like, Santa Fe and Kona and stuff, you know, they have been updated. So we'll see if this one gets updated soon. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.